Rice Seedling Sutra. So beginning of Dharma class, the most important is we need to cultivate the right and pure motivation. You always need to remember, I remind you. So when we practice Dharma, we very much focus on when we actually, doing the practice, not much beginning of the practice. Also, when we go to, we will go for pilgrimage, visiting holy places. Also, when we are leaving from, Singapore or different country, we didn't have a great motivation, right motivation. When we actually reach to the place, then we remember, need to cultivate right motivation. Therefore, each time when we do any kinds of Dharma practice, particularly that practice related to the Mahayana teaching, the motivation is very, very, very important. Therefore, at the beginning, everybody think very simply, you think this morning, I'm going to practice or I'm going to study Dharma, Rice Seedling Sutra for achieving Buddhahood, merely benefit all sentient beings. In order to practice Dharma, then you need to remember what Buddha or what Buddha taught to the disciple. Whoever sins Dharma dependent arising, then see the Dharma. Whoever sees the Dharma, see the Buddha, right? Dharma, first dependent origination, then Dharma, then Buddha. This order is very important. So when we, not just verbally, mentally, if you really understood the dependent origination, then for us, for you, very easy to believe in karma. Also very easy to believe in next life, previous life, particularly very easy to believe achieving, I can achieve Buddhahood. So we need to know the dependent origination. Then at the beginning of the sutra is mentioned something exists because something else already exists, right? This is kind of, very foundation for us to believe in Dharma, believe in cause and effect. If something else already not exists, something cannot be exist. Am I right? For example, yesterday almost whole morning was raining. The raining is happening because before raining, the condition was already there. Therefore, yesterday morning, there was a raining, right? Likewise, we have something now. We have our clothes, we have our food, we have everything. We have something with us. The cause and condition of the thing is already exists in the past. The second one, this is born because something already was born, right? The words mean the effect, the result, the things we have, those are impermanent because the cause of the things are impermanent. For example, when you look at the flowers, few weeks, like 2 weeks ago, in TBC, we had lots of more than 100 orchid flowers. Then the flower has changed Finally, the flower become very old, too old. We cannot use anymore, so we have to throw them away. The flower become old, change, become very spoiled because the cause of the flowers are impermanent. Everybody wish to be youthful forever, but we cannot because the cause which is produce our body, the condition which is produce our body and mind are impermanent. Therefore, impermanent cause only produce impermanent result and effect. Therefore, we have to accept the changes. We were born, gradually we become adult, then old, very old. Also, within our lifetime, so many our relatives, like friends, they has gone, they pass away. When our relatives, very close friends and relatives pass away, we feel very upset because before that happened, we didn't realize those are impermanent. Cause are impermanent, therefore the result must be impermanent. Permanent cause cannot produce, actually there's a not permanent cause. If something like the God, the creator, believe as a permanent by Christian, Hindu, Muslim, if the God is a immortal, permanent, and the creator, the God, cannot produce anything. For example, you put a piece of rock under the soil, you add water, or you add more soil, you take care of the pot for growing the sprout. Cannot. Because the stone cannot be transformed, cannot be changed as a permanent cause to arise, to grow the flowers. Therefore, cause impermanent. Therefore, any kind of result which is produced by the cause cannot be permanent. Right? Therefore, you can make a simple conclusion. The belongings I have, the healthy body I have, the closer friends or relative I have, everything is what? Impermanent. So for the time being, we can possess the things. For the time being, we can have the relatives. One day, they can be lived before us, or we can be lived before them. So therefore, every day you need to remember, I am impermanent. My relatives, my belongings, my property, everything around me, the country, the water, everything is impermanent. So we should not have a strong attachment towards them. When you have a very strong attachment towards them, when we lose it, right, then first time we cannot imagine, even though you cannot really believe, right? Therefore, beginning of the Buddha teaching, when Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths, among the four, the truth of suffering. When he explained, the four truth of suffering very detailedly, the first he explained impermanent, impermanent, right? Impermanent. Also, all of you should not think, oh, I know what does mean impermanent because thing is changing, right? Actually, all of us understood. We realized that the gross impermanent, not the subtle impermanent. When we realized the subtle impermanent, look like you are, like sit on the what do you call the rocket, the faster kind of technology, faster vehicle, the rocket. You sit on the rocket. The rocket moves so fast to the destination. Therefore, our life doesn't matter how young you are. But every moment, every second, every milliminutes, we are moving towards where? To end our this life. We should not say, everybody moving towards to end of the life. There's no ending of the life. Life doesn't have an ending. Then there's a question, what does mean dependent origination? So now we move to the actual the topic. The last Sunday we discussed about there's a two principal dependent originations. One is the external dependent origination, right? The second is the internal dependent origination. So, of course, Buddha Shakyamuni, he's a Buddha. If we look at him as a normal human being, he's a very, like a smart. Also, he's a very kind of a very skillful teacher. Very skillful teacher. He didn't directly explain interdependent origination. First, he explained dependent origination based on the external phenomena, right? External phenomena. So when you look at, you observe closely the external phenomena. Another, again, the flower. Because Singapore is very common, you can see flower everywhere. Look at the flower. There's a cause, the primary cause, which is seeds, can be sprout. Then secondary cause, secondary condition, cause and condition. Right? In order to grow, arise, sprout, any kind of sprout, what do we need? We need the two important things. What are they? Cause, which is the primary cause, which is the seeds. Second, the secondary cause, like the soil, water. And Buddha mentioned there are 6 elements, right? 6 elements. What are they? Simply 4 elements: earth, water, fire, air, then space and time. Space and time. In order to grow anything, in order to build anything, what do we need? We need 4 elements. Without water, we cannot build anything. Without water, we cannot grow anything. Without water, we cannot survive. Water is very important, water element. The second, earth. There's a water. If there's no earth, also we cannot grow anything, we cannot build anything, earth. The third one, fire. Fire doesn't mean like a big fire. It's a fire elements. Fire. For example, let's say, like a two book, you cannot, when you touch, you cannot feel the heat. When you rub these two together, a few minutes, when you touch, you can feel the heat. The heat is the fire elements. Without fire elements, all the things cannot put, cannot become solid. There's a fire element. Then the air elements. Right? The 4 elements is a very common causes condition for the human being and the non-human beings. These days, the religious people like us, we Buddhists, we always talk about Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, cause and condition, karma. We don't care much about the 4 elements, right? 4 elements. Now, almost all parts of the world, except maybe if you go to Himalaya, like Tibet, Bhutan, maybe India, Indian part of Himalaya, that you can see, you can have the pure water without pollution. When you move down from the Himalaya, like Delhi, Bombay, or Singapore, Malaysia, all parts of the world, the water is totally polluted. Right? Second, also, the earth also very polluted. Air is polluted. This day, look at, it's a very unfortunate as a human being living on in these planets. We didn't care the four elements. Now what we have to do, we have to buy the water. Where we go, we have to carry water. Maybe after 20 years, 30 years, everybody maybe need to carry the oxygen, air. You cannot really, it's going to be happen. But as a, little like Buddhist community, we cannot change the system. We cannot. If the whole world, whole human being come together, no matter which religion you follow, if you try, maybe we can change little bit, not much. Therefore, four elements very important, right? Then plus space. Right now we are sitting in this hall because there's a space. We are moving, the car is moving, air is moving because there's a space. Without space, cannot be happen, anything, can't be happen, anything, space. Then time, right, timing. For example, you put a seed and soil, everything on the pots in the winter time, you cannot see the seeds, has a, what you call grow the sprout. In the spring, the season come, then you can see that sprout is coming from the seeds, then the shoot, then the flower, then the fruits, right? These are 6 elements based on the external phenomena. Now we go, study the internal dependent origination. I think we have a different copy. Rice Seedling Sutra. As we study a little bit about the 6 elements, moreover, dependent arising emerges from 2 principles. From what 2 principles? From a causal relation and the conditional relation. Furthermore, it should be seen as a twofold, outer and inner, right? So all the conditioned phenomena can be the external condition or internal conditioned phenomena. It should be seen as a twofold, the outer dependent arising, the internal or inner dependent arising. What is the causal relation in outer dependent arising? It is as follows. From the seeds, please read. Seeds come as a sprout. From sprout, a leaf. From a leaf, stem. From stem, pedicle. From the pedicle, pestle. From the pestle, a flower. From flower comes a fruit. If there's no seed, then the sprout cannot arise. And please read. Until finally, without flower, the fruit cannot arise. If there's a seed, the sprout will form, and so on until finally the fruit. That if there's a flower, then the fruit will form. So in order to understand the internal dependent arising, right? Arising, if you really wants to understand Dharma, first you really have to understand how the external phenomena is functioning, is growing. For us, very, very easy to understand, dependent arising based on the external phenomena. Let's say, since today, tomorrow you start to grow a flower in your house. What do you need? You need a pot. Then the soil, the seeds, the water. The timing is very important, right? If you put the sprout in the very sunny area, the sprout going to be dry. If you put the sprout very cold area, the sprout going to be dried. So you need to put the flower at the the area has a which has a right temperature. Timing is very important. Likewise, let's say you are the boss of the business, big or small. Let's say you work for a company, so you have a colleague. You know your colleague always do a lot of mistake, right? Then what we do, we never think the right timing. We just talk to the colleague. The colleague get angry or upset. If you need to explain, if you need to tell the problems, we need to wait until the right time. Am I right? As a parents, you have a child, you have a children, you know your children is not doing study well there. You need to tell your children, study well. But you have to wait until the right time. Right time is very important. This is the definition or explanation about the dependent arising based on the external or outer phenomena. In this process, now look at the seeds doesn't think I form the sprout, nor does the sprout think I am formed by the seeds. Remember this sentence. The seed doesn't have a kind of motivation, intention to grow or arise sprout. Right? Sprout is come out, arise from the seeds. When the sprout grow, arise, the sprout never think, doesn't have a thought, I am formed by the seeds. Now, how things happening? Things happening merely dependent on causes and condition. Right? Causes and condition. Therefore, sometimes, in Singapore, weather becomes suddenly very hot. When the weather becomes very hot, many people feel very annoying. But the weather doesn't have an intention make you suffering. Right? Thus, the weather becomes suddenly very hot. Therefore, things become hot. The weather become hot because the weather become hotter or hot, there was a condition. The condition that makes the weather hotter. The condition doesn't have a thing, I want to have a mega, hot weather, then people have a lot of suffering. Things happen like that. This point, what we're going to understand, look at, I form, like all the way you have to go, the flower does not think, I form, thus I'm formed by the seed. Likewise, the flower does not think, I form the fruits, nor does the fruit think, I am formed by the flowers. Just before the center, remember there was a center here. There was a sentence, there's a sentence. Here, whether Tathagatas appear or not. Tathagata means Buddha, right? Buddha appear or not. This true nature of the thing will remain. It is the true nature, the conscious true nature. Therefore, things, continuously arising, continuously decay, things happen, whether they are Buddha or not. Buddha appear or not, dependent arising, always there. This is the nature of the phenomenon. The second, if all the dependent arising is always there, that means the emptiness is always there. Buddha appear or not, Tathagata appears or not, the emptiness is always there. Then we have a question that if the emptiness is always there, emptiness is always with me, then why I cannot understand? Why I cannot realize emptiness? Your body nature also emptiness. Your mind nature is emptiness. You can say when you see a phenomena, there's emptiness. But so far, we cannot realize. We haven't realized emptiness. Why? There's two reasons. Reason number one, so for many years, we haven't heard from nobody about emptiness. Right? For many years. So you are, when you are like 3, 4 years old, you already start schooling, all the way colleges, university, then you are busy with your job, searching job, then you have a job, then you are busy with your job. Therefore, you haven't heard about emptiness. Therefore, how we can realize? Second, when you meet like a Tibetan teachers or guru or master or Chinese teacher, then they talk about emptiness. At first, we don't understand what does mean emptiness. For us, emptiness means nothingness. Nothingness. Yes, that the teacher explained, no, emptiness doesn't mean it's just totally empty. We cannot say there's nothing. Emptiness means things are there. Okay, things are there. The good or bad, all the things are there. Things are not there as we believe. Then we confuse about emptiness. Therefore, with the two reasons, emptiness is always there. We haven't realized because of two reasons. First, we haven't heard about emptiness for many, many years. Second, when we hear about emptiness, we don't understand. When the teacher, the book, explain about emptiness very precisely, we cannot believe. We cannot believe. Therefore, look at the history of Buddha teaching. The first time when he taught about the Four Noble Truths, he didn't explain, much about emptiness. Maybe a little glimpse of emptiness. Then gradually, when the disciple, have a better understanding of the external phenomenon, then, second kind of, most important teaching, the Prajna Paramita teaching, then he very much emphasized about emptiness. Even though that time, many of his disciples, they didn't understand emptiness, then he need to give a more extra, explanation. So this must remember, the Tathagata appears or not, the true nature of things will remain. That means, likewise, another sentence you can make. The Tathagata appears or not. The ignorant is always be the primary cause of the afflictive emotions. Can you remember? Can you remember? The Buddhas or Tathagata appears or not. The ignorant is always be the root of all the afflictive emotion. The ignorant is always be a cause of suffering. Right? Then what if we have to remember? And these days, there are so many people, millions of people, first they really don't realize, like a suffering. They don't realize suffering. Some of people, then gradually somehow they realize suffering. Then there's a question. So what's the origin of suffering? Likewise, we as a Buddhist, when we were young, like it was 4, 5, 10, I think 15 years, so we just, go to the temple by our parents or relatives. We didn't understand anything, right? We just do the prostration, then offer the josti, they come back. We don't understand Dharma. Also, we didn't have a we didn't think about what's the origin of suffering. When we think, what's the origin of suffering, then most people believe my suffering is, coming from somewhere. I want happiness. The happiness also must come from somewhere, right? We never think I have a suffering. Actually, I am the creator of the suffering. We never think the happiness I want, I can achieve within myself. Because as a seed, we have a seed of suffering. We have a seed of happiness. We already have the potential. When the suffering potential become more stronger, more powerful, then what happens? Lot of suffering follow us. Then the positives, like potential is gradually developed. Then the happiness arises more and more, more and more. Therefore, as a Buddhist, please everybody, when you have a problem, you should not look outside. You should not just run to the temple. You should not run to see the teacher or master. Because you need to think, I have a suffering. The sufferings, the problem is come from where? Come from where? You should ask the question. That time you have to be very honest. Be honest. Otherwise, you say, oh, I have a problem, I have a suffering, because this suffering is come from my relatives, my colleague, my neighbors, my friend. You're going to blame to many people. If you're able to be honest, then you're going to say, yeah, I have a suffering. I have a kind of like a verbal arguments. It's because of me. I have a fighting with my husband because of me. I have a fighting with my wife, my children, my brother, my sister, uncle, because of, what is it? Because of me. So I have to change first. If you change, then the environment can be changed. If the environment can be changed, then you don't need to search, happiness, peace separately. Right? You have to be honest. But so difficult to be honest because we have very strong pride. We are very egotistic, right? Egotistic person. Somebody said, you did a wrong. You say you're never going to accept because of the ego. Ego. Therefore, it's not easy to be honest, to accept, all the problem is because of me. Is somebody going to say all the problem because of you? Then what happens? A person gets very angry because of me, because of me, because of not you, right? First you say, yes, me, I will change I will try to change. But here's one problem. We think, yeah, I want to try, I want to change, I try my best to change. But you say, usually say, I try to change very slowly, right? That many people say, I learn Dharma slowly. Then we believe we can live another maybe 10, 20, 30 years. It's not certain. If you really want to change yourself, change, right away, immediately. You should not think, I will change tomorrow, I will change myself next year. Right? Remember here what Adama Master says, when they wake up early morning, they always say, I don't know which one come first, tomorrow and my death. My death. I'm not sure which one come first, tomorrow or my death. Right? So we have to think that whether you are, healthy person, unhealthy person, whatever, the death is like this, is very uncertainty. Then here, so how is the conditional relation to outer dependent arising to be seen as due to the coming together for six elements, as the due to the coming together of the which six elements, namely condition of dependent arising is to be seen as a due to the coming together of the elements of the earth, water, fire, wind, space, and seasons. The earth elements function as the support for the six. That is very easy to understand. Everybody must go through, not just finish the pages. You really must have a strong belief how the external phenomena arise, establish, exist. Now please turn into next pages. Here, the outer dependent arising is to be seen as a terms of five aspects. What are those five aspects? As not permanent. Right? The first, you need to think, you need to remember all the any kinds of the outer external phenomena exists, arise, establish there due to the six elements. Six elements. Right? Then the next paragraph, the outer dependent arising to be seen as a terms of five aspects. What are those five aspects? As not permanent, as not discontinuous, as not involving transmigration, as the, please read, formation of the largest result from the small cause, and as to the continuity of the similar types. Therefore, first remember the outer phenomena arise based on the six elements. Right? Six elements. Then the things, the phenomena arise based on the six elements are not permanent. Not permanent, not permanent. When you are able to believe those are not, be permanent, for you very easy to control your attachment. Attachment. For example, so you are sitting somewhere, somebody pass you one of the most expensive kind of object in your hand, ask you to keep for 1 hour, right? Ask you to keep it for 1 hour. Most of the beautiful object. When you look at the object, you can see the object is so beautifully, so nice. Then you can have a little attachment towards the beautiful object. But you cannot have, surely nobody can have a strong attachment towards the object because this you can keep only 1 hour. 1 hour, the object, can somebody going to be taken. Like exactly same. Whatever you have, the house, the cars, the relatives, the property, the name, position, whatever you have for very short time. Short time. So few times I went to attend the funeral ceremony. It's my like kind of experience or my kind of realization. When you look at the body in the coffin, right? Put like a man or woman, no matter, put a lot of heavy makeup, put a very nice dress, sleep on the coffin. It look like the person is rare, right? Look like the person look like rare, still alive. Second, look at the last stage. This is our house, a coffin. Therefore, our house, we have the 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom is kind of bigger coffin. Because we just stay there maybe longest, maybe 100 years. So when we die, usually most traditionally we die in the house, the bigger coffin. Then move to the small coffin, then move to the underground. Right? If you think this way, yes, we know we have to accept we need a house. Right? We need a house. We must have a house. But the house we can use for just for a few years. We should not attach to the house. Likewise, we must have a friends and family and relatives. If you alone cannot survive, you must have either friends and family or boss or servant. We need somebody. But we should not attach, should not, strongly attach towards them. When you have a strong attachment for them, then what happens? Your relatives going to pass away, but you don't let it go. Don't let it go. Then you can have a very difficult emotional problems, right? Emotional problems. Therefore, I'm not saying we should not have a house. We must have a house. We must have a car. We must have a job, position, money, relatives or family. We must have. But how you can use them, how you can have them, this thing I have, I'm very lucky, but this thing can be last short time. The relative will leave, the house can be, become old. So remember the impermanent. Therefore, look at those are as not permanent, as not discontinuous. Discontinuous, what does mean? Condition like here again. The book is made of paper, right? If I throw this book in the dustbin, the books go to maybe the recycle place. Then slowly the paper going to recycle maybe another paper. Maybe it's going to transfer into soil. There's not such a say discontinue. Our body, the continue can remain maybe forever. Our mind, the continuum of mind can be remain forever. Then if I burn this book on the fire, just burn it on fire, what happened? The book becomes ashes. That ashes. Then you throw the ashes in the water, the ashes become mixed with the water, is become water particles. Then the water can be remain, for many, many years. Then slowly the water dry, is transferred into other form. Therefore, there's no continuous. As not involving transmigrations. This one, very difficult to understand. Not involving transmigration. I just mentioned, like a subtle impermanent. Subtle impermanent. Subtle impermanent, thing changing momentarily. The first moment of the okay, the first moment of the sits cannot remain more than 1 milliminutes. Just 1 milliminute. Second milliminutes, the first moment of sits is no more there. Understand? Just talk about based on the sits. The first the moment of the sits cannot remain during the second moment of sits. The first moment of sits, the second moment of sits is totally different. Totally different. Right? When the first moment sits, produce the second moment of the sits. But when the first moment sit exists, second moment sit haven't exist yet. When the second moment sit exists, already exists, the first moment of sits decay. Then how the cause and condition is happening? First moment sits there, second moment sits not haven't exists. When the second moment sit exists, the first moment sit has gone. First moment and second moment sit cannot meet, cannot coexist. Then how the cause thing happen? Right? So if you think, point of view from the subtle momentary changes, and not easy to understand how the cause produce the result, how the result arises from the cause, because then these two never coexist, never, right? Never coexist. Therefore, it's come later here, as not involving the transmigration, as the formation of the largest result from small cause, and as a continuity of the small types. So these are quite easy. Next one, how it is not permanent? It is not permanent, the reason, because the sprout and the seeds are different, right? The sprout and seeds are different. Also, we also know the sprout and seeds is not the same, right? It is different meaning mean the nature of the seeds, the nature of the sprout is not the same, mean the sprout transformed into the, no, the seeds transform into sprout, right? We cannot see this is a seed, this is a sprout. You can see the different sprout, different seeds together. For example, you can bring a barley sprout, you can bring the like a beans, you can see these are together. But the sprout which is produced the seeds which is produced the sprout, you cannot see the sprout, the seeds together. You cannot. Because the sprout transform into the seeds transform into sprout. Just change. That means when the sprout be as a sprout, that time the seed is not there. When the seed is there, the sprout which is produced by the seed is not there. Right? Therefore, the sprout and the seed is different, means the nature of the seeds be as a seeds. When they transform to sprout, there's no seeds. Therefore, how the conditioned phenomena function in the reality. How it is not impermanent? It is not impermanent because the sprout and the seeds are different. The sprout is not the seeds. The sprout does not come from the seeds. Look at the sprout does not come from the seed after it has seeds. Right? Can you read the sentence? The sprout does not come from the seeds after it has ceased. Yeah, nor does it come from the seeds where there has not yet ceased. Rather, the sprout grown precisely as the seed ceases. Very difficult, isn't it, right? The sprout arises after sees the seeds. Then how the sprout can put, how the seed can produce sprout? Without sees the seed, sprout cannot be produced. Right? So therefore, according to Buddha teaching, according to Buddhist tradition, we cannot accept the cause, the result can be coexist. Therefore, from the subtle impermanent point of view, then when the cause exists, the result haven't come. When the result comes, the cause must be ceased. Without cease the cause, the result cannot produce. Therefore, how things are impermanent. How it is not discontinuous. It is not discontinuous because sprout is not grown from the seeds that has already ceased, not from the seed that has not yet ceased, rather like beam of the scale leading from up to down. That means the seeds cease from the sprout grow. When the sprout grow, the seed cease. In the scale, you put one go down, other side go up. Other side go up, next studies go down, up, down. They never be together. Okay, this is based on the external phenomena. Now we just move to the inner. Similarly, inner dependent arising also arises from the true principles. From what true principles? From causal relation and the conditioned relationship is same here, right? What then is the causal relation in inner dependent arising? It starts with the ignorance causing formation or and so on until finally birth, cause, and aging and death. Right? Now is exactly the same as the external phenomena. Just use the external phenomena and try to understand how the inner dependent arising exists. If ignorance does not arise, then formation does not manifest, and so on, until finally, if birth does not arise, then aging and death does not manifest. Likewise, from the existence of ignorance, formation occurs, and so on, until finally, from the existence of birth, aging and death. Right? So, ignorance cause formations, right? Formations. Formation means action. The formation cause consciousness. Consciousness form, name and form. Okay. First, there's ignorance. Right? There's ignorance. Ignorance can be two types. One will be named the innate ignorance. Whether you're a human being or non-human being, other sentient being, everybody possesses the innate ignorance. Mean the ignorance is always there. Always there. Here I will ask you a question. Anybody can answer. Why we have ignorance? Why we possess ignorance? Why we possess attachment? Nobody taught us attachment. Nobody asked us to attach to someone. Our mind, naturally attached. Nobody teach us you have to be angry man or angry person. Anger arise, right? Arise. Nobody taught us you must generate anger. Nobody taught us, you must cultivate attachment. Since we were born, you can see little, like a 2 years, 2 years old, like a baby, can have an attachment, can have a anger. Right? When you show the two different objects, from your point of view, both object is beautiful, very nice. You really like both of them. When you show the two objects to the baby, small baby, let's say 2 3 months old, the baby very much like one of the object, not the both. Why? Why? Right? Likewise, the baby haven't got any lesson for get angry, get upset. The baby, when you show certain object, the baby get angry. When you show certain object, the baby have a kind of sense of a like or sense of attachment, sense of desire. Why we have this thing? We don't believe in creator, right? We don't believe in creator. We don't believe in like a powerful being who create this world. We don't believe, right? We don't believe, we cannot accept, we should not say because I'm Buddhist is wrong. We say, I cannot believe, I don't think I can accept because of that and this and that reason. As a Buddhist, you always need to apply reasonings and logic. You should not use Buddha as a kind of authentic, what do you call, authority person. Reason. Then, okay, answer me. Why we have ignorance? Why we have attachment? Who taught us attachment? Who? Right? If there's a impossible in previous life, then everything have to be stuck within this life. If this is the case, then somebody can be born without ignorance, without attachment, without anger. But you cannot see any of the baby born without ignorance, right? It cannot. This is the one reason Buddhists believe in previous life. Previous life. Then the previous life also have all the negative thoughts. They also come from the previous, before the previous life. Is go all the way until we are beginning is a beginningless. Beginningless. We believe in beginningless. There's no beginning point, right? Then I say, usually, if there's a beginning point, we remember we can have only two options. The beginning point, whatever things there, the things must come from causeless, without cause and condition, or permanent cause. Right? So we cannot accept any of them. We cannot accept, things at the beginning. If there something can be arise from causeless, don't you believe? Cannot. Look at this day. If you're hungry, you need to eat something. Without eating food or without taking something, you cannot satisfy that, hungry. Therefore, as a Buddhist, we cannot accept creator, the God. Also, we cannot believe in the beginning point. It goes, beginningless. If you're able to believe, yes, my life is a kind of beginningless, endless, then what happened in between? So there we name cycle existence, samsara. Means, someday we were born as a celestial being, enjoying all the kind of good conditions. Then what happened? Then one day we died. Maybe come down to the, human being life. Then we remain as a human being, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 100 years. One day, then we leave this world, take another life. Therefore, cycle existence. Right now we have, let's say how many people here who, however, right now, if I reflect on someone, I cannot remember, this person used to be my mother. If you look at me, you cannot remember I used to be, your mother. We cannot remember. Actually, in reality, all of you can be used to be my mother. In the reality, I am also, used to be your mother. But we cannot remember. If you use the logic, so this is the truth, is the reality. Right? So we can stop the class here. Then what? This morning I thought about, the truth and the reality. As a Buddhist, I'm not saying everybody must be Buddhist. Cannot. Everybody cannot be Buddhist, and everybody cannot be like a Muslim, cannot be Hindu, cannot be free thinker. It's up to individual. Here, all of you, let's say I believe all of you are Buddhist or Buddhist. If you really believe yourself, I'm a Buddhist, your way of thinking, okay, your way of thinking must be realistic. Your way of thinking must be practical, realistic. Particularly in your daily life, when you feel you feel I'm going to get angry, I'm going to get upset, I'm going to have a kind of jealous. So you have the responsibility, this is your duty, immediately control the negative thought, any of the negative thoughts, beginning of their arising, right? Somehow you can feel, oh, I'm going to get angry with, someone. You feel the angry is anger is arising. Sorry, the anger is arising. If you try to control the anger, is when it's become very strong and powerful, you cannot. Then what we do, we bang our head like, oh, it's too late. Likewise, attachment. Attachment. For example, next year there will be what called the iPhone 15 or 16. 16 will come. Some of you are still, very excited about it. That means before the mobile come in the market, before things come in the market, you already cultivate attachment, desire. At the end, if you're not able to buy it, what happened? Then you feel very upset. Right? Therefore, we should not cultivate attachment. If you feel I have an attachment, desire for someone, immediately you need to, kind of control. Don't let it go, quite strong. Because I have in many of, Dharma friends, at the beginning, they are very careless, this thing. When the emotional become very strong, is totally, uh, cannot control, then they come to see me. Then what I can do? I don't have a special injection, people control the negative thoughts. I told them, beginning of the negative thoughts, you must control. Also, people are very careless when they have a kind of little beginning of the sickness and disease. They're totally careless, food and drink. When they become totally under control, not cannot control. That's English words. Out of control. Can I control? Cannot. The doctor, the nurses say we cannot do anything. Simple monk also cannot do anything. Therefore, it is so important. We must control, beginning the problems, beginning of suffering, beginning of the emotional problem. Very easy, very easy. For example, sprout. If you cut a sprout, it's a little, very easy. You can get rid of it. You can cut. You can very easy. When it's become quite big, cannot. It become huge, cannot. Right? This is what I thought this morning about the impermanence. As a particular thought about it, being a Buddhist, what we should do. Okay, so we can stop our class here. So, which is I mentioned this morning. Also, we didn't mention since today. The 4 months are going to create the Zen mandala for 1 week. If you think, if you wish to visit, you can visit anytime between 10 to 5:30. 5:30. So when you visit when you observe the mandala, you should not just look as arts. Arts. You must observe. They're going to create, like a kind of resident or palace for the, Ed medicine Buddha. So while you are observing the mandala, you can chant the medicine Buddha mantra. Then you dedicate it to, whoever you're going to dedicate. Number one. Number two, since today the monks not come here for like fundraising. No, make sure I let you know. I have to be very clear for you. But when they come with a sudden saving, right? Marching. Atom, self or atom, or mainly contribution for the monastery. If you think I want to make contribution, you can buy incense and bags and some kind of atom from there. Okay. Last we do dedications. As a Buddhist, we commonly dedicate the merit we have accumulated this morning for flourish the Buddha teaching to 10 directions to benefit all kinds of people, Buddhist or non-Buddhist or human or non-human, benefit for all sentient beings. In order to flourish, the Buddha teaching is very much dependent on the lineage, gurus or teacher or master, all the merit we have accumulated, we can dedicate to long life all the lineage guru, particularly His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Last, we dedicate the merit for world peace. We really need, world peace. So next few years, we really don't know, what going to be happen. So many countries going to have a fighting or war or kind of, lot of disasters. So as a simple Buddhist, very simplest human being, we can every day we can dedicate our merit to for world peace. Last we do the dedication for the world peace. Jamba Bhavi Jeda Gyamba Dong Gundo Sangwa De Yang De Yin Deda Kunje Jesu Da Lo Jing Gewa Deda Dam Je Ro Duzu Jive Gyawa Dam Je Ye Mo Wa Kan La Chu Do Nga Ba Dage Gewe Zawa Di Gun Ya Sambo Je Je Ro Do Mu Wa Jingde Yang Be Ge Kan Dam Je Ming Ne Chu Ne Za Se Za De Ma Zhou Mo Ge Gu Ba Gu Jin Si Rin Ne Me De Ye Den Ba Shou Zhang Zhuo Sen Zhuo Ren Bo Che Ma Ye Ba Na Ma Ye Ye Wa Nian Ba Me Ba Wu Ni Gong Do Pe Wo Ra Zhu Dong Ye Da Wa Ren Bo Che Ma Ye Ba Na Ma Ye Ye Wa Nian Ba Me Ba Ya Wu Ni Gong Do Pe Wa Shou. Yes, so thank you so much for attending the class. Have a happy Sunday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.